Thank you for joining me for the 2023 Craft Fair series, where I show you how to make things for your upcoming craft fairs. We're going to be making this stationery set out of a 8x10 acrylic photo frame. The supplies you're going to need to make this project include scissors, paper trimmer, scrapbook paper, hot glue, regular glue, and other scrapbooking and card making supplies that you probably already have on hand. The first thing we're going to do is to cover up some chipboard with some pattern paper. This chipboard measures 7 1/4 by 5 1/4. The spine measures in at about 1/2 inch by 7 1/4. First, we're going to cover that chipboard with some pattern paper. In order to do so, I'm going to be utilizing some score tape. The pattern paper is measuring in at 12 inches by 10 inches. You will find the easiest way to start this is to place the chipboard pieces onto the score tape instead of the opposite way around. If you find that your score tape is not long enough for your project, simply fill in the gaps using a smaller strip of score tape. Now we're going to place the pattern paper face down and place our chipboard pieces on top. Then we're going to go ahead and place score tape on the inside covers. Using a smaller score tape, I go around the perimeter of the chipboard to make sure that when I fold this, it's going to fold nice and neat. Using my paper trimmer, I'm going to trim down this pattern paper to approximately 7 inches by 9. You will just simply put your paper up against your project and you can kind of eyeball it for size. At this point, I do want to point out, make sure that the direction of your paper is correct. I did not do that in this case and ended up having to recover the inside. Before I put the liner piece into place, I pre-scored this paper and now I'm going to crease it down over the top so that when this book is finished, even the inside will look nice. Using my score tape, I'm going to apply a line of this adhesive on all 4 corners. I have already put double-sided tape onto the base piece, so this will just simply layer on top. Line up the edges and keep it as straight as you can. As soon as this is put down, that's when I realized that my pattern paper was actually upside down. Once again, to fix that problem, I simply cut another piece of paper as a liner for the book. Now I'm going to take this small notebook that I purchased from Walmart and cover it with some of the score tape. To cover the notebook, I'm using one of the larger prints of this pattern paper to cover the front. It's pretty easy to do. Just try to keep everything straight. As soon as you get it all cut down to the size that you want, you're going to simply place it on your notebook. I used some fine detail scissors to cut off the excess paper from the notebook. Apply tape to the back of this book. Take your time to line up the notebook with the back cover. As you can see, I have already corrected my mistake by covering up the paper that I originally had down with another piece. No one will ever know that I had cut it and applied it the wrong way. I'm going to be using some glue dots to attach some magnets onto the front cover. To keep this book closed, I will just be using a scrap of pattern paper. I use some hot glue to attach the strip to the inside of the back cover. Once it's in place, I will close the book. I pre-cut a piece of black cardstock, and I have fussy cut one of the main images from this pattern paper for my front cover's focal point. I added this to the front of my project by using regular tape as well as some dimensional adhesive. Once I have this piece in place, I'm going to start making the insert for the acrylic notebook holder. Make sure the direction of your paper is correct, and you're going to cut this down to exactly 8 by 10 inches. You're going to save a scrap for the back side. Gently put this piece of paper into the frame. I'm going to be using a scrap piece of this same pattern from the paper collection to finish off the back. This does not need any special adhesive. Regular tape will work just fine. Once you have this in place, you're going to want to trim off the excess with some sharp scissors. Apply the book to the front using double-sided adhesive. I cut a piece of coordinating scrapbook paper down to 3 1/4 by 7 inches. I attached this inside of the cover using some tape. To decorate the cover of this small post-it note, I'm just going to use some of my adhesive and place down a piece of this checkered black and white ribbon. I'm then going to be using my homemade bow making jig to tie a bow. After I've trimmed the ends of the bow to my satisfaction, I'm going to use a little bit of hot glue to attach this to the front cover. Once the ribbon is in place, I'm going to be using some of my score tape to attach this to the bottom left-hand side of this acrylic photo frame. Go slowly as you place this onto that acrylic photo frame to make sure everything is straight. I'm going to be making an insert for the RSVP pen by Pentel for my project. In order to do this, I'm simply using a scrap of paper that measures about 1 inch by about 5. To make it easier to roll this into a tube, I'm just randomly scoring it, and then I'm going to soften the fibers somewhat with my fingers and my bone folder. Unscrew the end of the pen and place the paper inside. You will have rolled it into a tube at this point. Once you have it inside, trim it up and put the top back on. Our project is now complete. I plan to charge between $12 and $15 at my craft fair. Thank you everyone for watching this tutorial. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Leave me a thumbs up and share my videos on your social media. Have a great day. Stay happy. Be a blessing. Bye for now.